My name is Kristen Bennett, and I turned 30 last week. I'm the planner, the one who always has it together, living in a small apartment in Raleigh, North Carolina. For my birthday, I went all out, booked a cozy corner at Brew and Bites, my favorite local coffee shop with balloons, a chocolate cake, and a playlist I spent hours curating. I texted the family group chat weeks in advance, double checking they'd show up. They all said yes. But when the clock hit 7, the chairs stayed empty. No calls, no apologies, just a notification ping. My phone lit up with a video from Mom, my younger brother posing in front of his shiny new Honda Civic, grinning ear to ear with the whole family cheering behind him. "Big day for our boy," the caption read. I sat there staring at the untouched cake, the candles burning low, my stomach twisting. They didn't just forget they chose him over me. Again. I was about to pack up when my phone buzzed with a call from Dad. His voice was sharp. No greeting. "We need to talk. Now." My grip tightened. I knew that tone. It wasn't about my birthday. It was about what they wanted from me next. If you've ever been sidelined by your own family, hit that subscribe button and stick around to see how I handled this betrayal. You won't believe what they asked for next. I've always been the one who plans ahead. Growing up in Raleigh, North Carolina, I learned early that if I wanted something, I had to earn it. By 16, I was babysitting neighbors' kids, saving every dollar for college. I worked through my 20s juggling part-time jobs while studying event planning at NC State. After graduation, I landed a job at a local firm organizing weddings and corporate gigs. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid enough to rent a one-bedroom apartment in a quiet suburb. I spent years chipping away at $30,000 in student loans, cutting corners, packing lunches, skipping vacations to clear that debt by 28. Every paycheck felt like a small victory, proof I could stand on my own. My brother, 5 years younger, took a different path. He's 25 now, working part-time at a retail store, but he's never had to worry about money. Mom and Dad covered his rent, his phone, even his gas. When he wanted a new gaming console, they'd hand him their credit card. I'd see him post on social media new sneakers, late-night takeout concert tickets, while I was budgeting for groceries. It wasn't just the money. It was the way they'd light up when he walked into a room like he could do no wrong. It started small, their expectations. At 22, I paid a $400 electric bill when their power got cut off. Mom called it helping family. A year later, Dad asked for $1,000 to fix their car. I gave it, thinking it was a one-time thing, but it kept coming: $200 for my brother's phone bill, $500 for their vacation fund. Each time they'd say, "You're doing well, Kristen. It's your duty." I'd bite my tongue, send the money, and feel my savings shrink. Grandma once pulled me aside at a family barbecue. She'd seen it before, her own siblings pulling the same stunts on her. "Don't let them make you their bank." She warned, her voice low so Mom wouldn't hear. I tried to set boundaries. 2 years ago, I told Dad I couldn't cover their cable bill anymore. He didn't yell, he just sighed like I'd let him down. Mom called later, her voice shaky, saying they'd have to cancel their anniversary dinner without my help. I caved, sent $300, and hated myself for it. My brother never asked directly. He'd just drop hints like, "Man, I'm short this month," and wait for Mom to nudge me. I started dreading their calls, their texts, the way they'd frame every request as my obligation. It wasn't about the money anymore. It was the weight of being their fallback, the one who always had to say yes. I thought my 30th birthday would be different. I'd worked hard, built a life I was proud of. I wanted to share it with them, to show we could just be a family, not a transaction. I'd spent weeks planning, imagining us laughing together, no strings attached. But deep down, I knew better. Their priorities were clear, and I wasn't at the top. That video of my brother with his new car wasn't a surprise. It was a reminder. I'd been their safety net for years, but when it came to my moment, they had other plans. The week before my birthday, I was all in. Turning 30 felt like a milestone, a chance to celebrate the life I'd built in Raleigh. I chose Brew and Bites, my favorite coffee shop for the party. It's a small place with warm wooden tables and a vibe that feels like home. I called the manager a month earlier to reserve a corner for 12 people, enough for mom, dad, my brother, Aunt Nancy, grandma, and a few cousins. I spent hours picking out the perfect chocolate cake from a local bakery, 3 layers with creamy frosting because who doesn't love chocolate? I ordered balloons in gold and white, my favorite colors, and a string of fairy lights to drape over the table. I even made a playlist, some classic rock, a little jazz songs I thought everyone would enjoy. 2 weeks out, I sent a group text to the family chat. Hey, my 30th is coming up, Brew and Bite, Saturday, 7 p.m. Can you make it? I included a photo of the cake to get them excited. The replies trickled in, but they were off. Mom sent a thumbs up emoji. Dad wrote, "Sounds good, but nothing else." My brother just typed busy, but I'll try. Aunt Nancy said she'd check her schedule. Grandma was the only one who called, her voice warm, promising she'd be there. I brushed off the lukewarm responses, figuring they'd show once they saw the effort I put in. I double-checked with the bakery, confirmed the reservation, and spent an evening tying ribbons to the balloons. The day before, I went to Brew and Bites to drop off the decorations. The manager helped me set up a sample table, and I stood back picturing everyone laughing, clinking glasses, maybe even toasting my 30 years. I texted the group again. All set for tomorrow, 7 p.m. sharp, can't wait. This time only, Grandma replied. Looking forward to it, sweetheart. The silence from the others stung, but I told myself they were just caught up with work or life. I spent that night tweaking the playlist, adding a few songs Mom liked, hoping she'd notice. Saturday arrived, my birthday. I got to Brew and Bites at 6 an hour early, wearing a new dress I'd saved up for simple black, but it made me feel good. I checked the table, balloons, floating fairy lights, twinkling, the cake centered perfectly. The staff gave me a thumbs up, and I felt a rush of pride. This was my moment. I sat down, scrolling through my phone, waiting for the first car to pull up. 7 o'clock came, then 7:15. The shop was quiet, just the hum of the espresso machine. I texted the group, "Here, where is everyone?" No reply. My stomach nodded, but I kept checking the door, expecting Dad's usual late arrival. At 7:30, my phone buzzed. A message from Mom popped up in the group chat, a photo of my brother standing in front of a shiny new car, arms spread wide, grinning. The caption read, "Big day for our boy." My chest tightened. I zoomed in, seeing Dad clapping my brother on the back, Mom beaming beside them, even Aunt Nancy in the background, all at some dealership. They weren't coming. They'd chosen his new car over my birthday. I sat alone, staring at the chocolate cake, its candles unlit, the fairy lights mocking my effort. The weight of their absence hit hard, not just tonight, but every time they'd put him first. I gripped my phone, fighting the urge to call, knowing it wouldn't change a thing. The next morning, my phone lit up with a text from Mom. "Come to the house. Noon. We need to talk." No apology for missing my birthday. No explanation, just a demand. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over the reply button. Part of me wanted to ignore it, but I knew they'd keep pushing. I grabbed my keys and drove the 15 minutes to their ranch-style house in the suburbs, the one with the neatly trimmed lawn and my brother's new car gleaming in the driveway. My stomach churned as I parked, already bracing for what was coming. Inside, Mom and Dad were waiting in the living room, sitting stiffly on the couch. My brother slouched in an armchair, scrolling on his phone, barely looking up. The air felt heavy, like they'd rehearsed this. Dad spoke first, his voice clipped. "Kristen, we're in a bind. Your brother's got a problem with his credit card." I raised an eyebrow, waiting. He went on. "It's $10,000. He got carried away, new clothes, a few trips, some upgrades for the car. We need you to cover it." I blinked, stunned. $10,000? I glanced at my brother, expecting shame, but he just shrugged, like it was no big deal. Mom chimed in, her tone softer but calculated. "You've always been responsible, Kristen. You've got a good job. It's just a loan, we'll pay you back." I opened my mouth to respond, but Dad cut me off. And there's more. We want to link his card to your bank account. It'll lower the interest rate, save us all some money. My jaw tightened. Link his card to my account. They weren't asking, they were telling me. I shook my head. No, I'm not doing that. The room went silent. Dad's face hardened. This is family, Kristen. You don't get to say no. Mom's eyes welled up, her voice trembling. How can you be so selfish? After everything we've done for you? My brother finally looked up, smirking. Come on, Kristen, it's just money. You've got plenty. I felt my face flush, anger bubbling up. Plenty. I worked my ass off to pay my own debts. I don't owe you anything. Dad stood towering over me. You live in that fancy apartment, don't you? You can afford this? I shot back. That apartment I scrape by every month because I've bailed you out before. Mom clutched her chest, tears spilling. You're breaking my heart, Kristen. We're your parents. My brother leaned forward, his voice sharp. You're just mad because I got the car. Get over it. I took a step back, my hands shaking. They didn't care about my birthday, my effort, my life. This was about their golden boy and his reckless spending. I thought of every time I'd given in: electric bills, car repairs, their vacation fund, always framed as my duty. Not anymore. I'm done, I said, my voice steady despite the knot in my chest. I'm not your bank. Figure it out yourselves. Dad scoffed, folding his arms. You'll regret this. Mom sobbed louder, muttering about family loyalty. My brother rolled his eyes, muttering, Whatever, Kristen. I turned for the door, their voices chasing me. You're abandoning us, Mom cried. I didn't look back. As I stepped outside, the slam of the door echoed behind me. Driving away, I felt a mix of betrayal and clarity. They'd crossed a line, expecting me to clean up my brother's mess while dismissing my own life. I gripped the steering wheel, determined to protect what I'd built, no matter what they threw at me next. By noon the next day, my phone was a war zone. The group chat exploded with messages, each one sharper than the last. Mom started it, her words dripping with guilt. Kristen, we raised you to care about family. How could you walk out like that? Dad's text came next, heavy with threat. Don't turn your back on us. You'll see what happens when you do. My brother's message was the worst, a string of venom. You're so full of yourself, Kristen. Think you're better than us. Good luck on your own. I read each one, my hands trembling, their words slicing deeper than I expected. They weren't just mad, they were trying to break me. I tried to focus on work, but my phone kept buzzing. Mom sent another text, her tone softer but no less manipulative. I can't sleep knowing you're against us. Please, Kristen, reconsider. Dad followed with, You're making a mistake. We're family, not enemies. My brother didn't bother with guilt, he just insulted me again. Keep acting high and mighty. You'll crash eventually. I muted the chat, but the notifications piled up, each one a reminder of their refusal to respect my no. Then around 3, an email from my bank popped up. Unusual login attempt detected. My heart sank. Someone had tried to access my account using an old security question I'd shared with Mom years ago, my first pet's name. I called the bank immediately, my voice shaking as I explained. The representative confirmed multiple failed attempts to reset my password, all from an unfamiliar device. I didn't need proof to know it was Mom, desperate to get into my account to cover my brother's debt. I told the bank to lock everything, set a new password, and add a verbal passcode for any changes. No one but me gets access. I said, my tone firm. The representative assured me it was secure now, but I still felt violated. I sat on my couch staring at the phone, the weight of their betrayal sinking in. They didn't just want my money, they thought they could take it. I checked my account balance, the savings I'd built through years of discipline, and felt a surge of resolve. This was mine, not theirs. But the silence in my apartment was deafening, the absence of anyone to turn to, hitting hard. I'd spent so long trying to please them, and now I was alone, their voices still echoing in my head. That evening, my phone rang. It was Grandma, her voice steady and warm. "Kristen, I heard what happened at the house." I braced myself expecting another lecture, but she surprised me. "You did the right thing standing your ground. Don't let them guilt you." She paused, then told me about her own past, how her sister had borrowed money for years, promising to repay only to cut contact when Grandma finally said no. "They'll drain you dry if you let them," she said. "You're stronger than that. Keep your head up." Her words were like a lifeline pulling me back from the edge of doubt. I hung up my chest still tight, but my mind clearer. Grandma's story wasn't just a warning, it was proof I wasn't wrong to fight back. I blocked Mom and Dad's numbers, at least for now, and deleted my brother's latest texts without reading them. The loneliness stung sharper than I'd expected, but giving in wasn't an option. They'd crossed a line trying to break into my account, and I wasn't going to let them anywhere near what I'd worked for. I opened my laptop, double-checked my bank's security settings, and felt a flicker of control return. They could keep pushing, but I was done bending. 2 days later, they showed up at my apartment. I was washing dishes when the doorbell buzzed sharp and insistent. I dried my hands, glancing through the peephole, and my stomach dropped. Mom, Dad, and my brother stood there, uninvited, their faces set. I opened the door, and they pushed past me without a word, Dad clutching a manila folder. Mom's eyes were red, like she'd been crying, but her jaw was tight. My brother trailed behind, arms crossed, avoiding my gaze. They settled in my small living room, the air thick with tension. Dad slapped the folder on my coffee table. "This is the loan agreement," he said, his voice cold. $10,000. Sign it and we'll handle your brother's debt." I stared at the papers, my pulse racing. They hadn't come to apologize, they'd come to demand. Mom leaned forward, her voice soft but heavy. "Kristen, we're your parents. You can't just walk away from us. This is about family." My brother finally looked up, his tone sharp. "Stop being so selfish, Kristen. Just sign it." I took a deep breath, my hands clenched. "No, I told you I'm not paying for his mistakes." Dad's face darkened and he stood pointing at the folder. "This isn't just about him. It's about our family's stability, our assets. You're part of this whether you like it or not." I shook my head, incredulous. "Your assets? You mean his shopping sprees and car mods? I'm not bailing him out." Mom's voice broke, pleading. "Please, Kristen, we're begging you. Don't tear us apart." My brother scoffed, rolling his eyes. "You're making this a big deal for no reason. Just do it." I stepped back, my voice steady. "Get out. All of you." Dad's eyes narrowed. "You're throwing us out." "After everything we've done." Mom clutched his arm, her tears starting again. "How can you treat us like this?" My brother stepped closer, his voice low. "You'll regret this, Kristen. You're not as independent as you think." I pointed to the door, my heart pounding. "Leave. Now." They hesitated, but I held my ground, and one by one they filed out, Dad muttering about my ingratitude, Mom sobbing, my brother glaring. As the door closed, I locked it, my hands shaking. I grabbed my laptop and changed my Wi-Fi password, remembering how my brother once used it to order takeout on my account. I called a locksmith, scheduling a deadbolt upgrade for the next day. My apartment, my sanctuary, felt tainted, but I wasn't letting them take that too. Later that evening, my phone rang. It was Aunt Nancy, her voice gentle but firm. "Kristen, I heard about the fight. You need to make peace for the family's sake." I cut her off, my tone flat. "No, I'm done fixing their problems." She sighed, urging me to reconsider, but I hung up, my resolve hardening. Sitting on my couch, I felt a strange relief wash over me. Saying no, standing firm, was like shedding a weight I'd carried for years. But the pressure lingered, their words, their expectations still gnawed at me. I looked around my apartment, the plants on my balcony swaying in the evening breeze, and reminded myself this was my space, my life. They could keep pushing, but I was building walls they couldn't cross. A week after the disaster, I decided to try again. My 30th birthday deserved a real celebration, not the hollow ache of that empty table. I booked Brew and Bites again, but this time I invited people who actually cared: Lisa, Daniel, Patricia, and a few colleagues from the event planning firm. I kept it simple: a new vanilla cake with raspberry filling a small stack of balloons in silver and blue, and a playlist of upbeat pop songs. The coffee shop's warm glow felt different now, its string lights casting a cozy shimmer over the wooden tables, like a fresh start. The night of the party, Lisa arrived first, her arms full of a gift bag stuffed with tissue paper. "You deserve this," she said, hugging me tightly. Daniel and Patricia followed, joking about how they'd cleared their schedules for me. My colleagues Sarah and Mike brought a bottle of sparkling cider, their laughter filling the room. We sat around the table, the cake glowing with candles, and for the first time in weeks, I felt light. Sarah raised her glass, her voice warm. "To Kristen, who's tougher than she knows." Everyone cheered, and I smiled, their words wrapping around me like a shield. As we sliced the cake, Lisa leaned in, her eyes bright. "You're a rock, Kristen." Not many people could stand up to their family like that. I shrugged, but her words hit deep. The conversation flowed: stories about work, bad dates, and dreams of traveling. Daniel teased me about my playlist, saying I had a secret pop star obsession. The laughter was easy, the kind that made my chest feel full instead of heavy. Brew and Bites buzzed with energy, the clink of mugs and hum of chatter blending with our voices. Later, as we sipped coffee, my phone buzzed with a voicemail from Grandma. I stepped outside to listen, the evening air cool against my skin. Her voice was steady, but tinged with sadness. "Kristen, I wanted you to know what's happening. Your brother's car got repossessed last week. He couldn't keep up with the payments. Your parents are struggling too, stretched thin from covering his expenses." She paused, then added, "You're not responsible for their choices. Keep moving forward." I stood there, the city lights flickering in the distance, a mix of pity and relief washing over me. Their mess wasn't mine to clean up anymore. Back inside, Lisa pulled me aside, her expression serious. "I've been where you are," she said quietly. "My mom used to guilt me into paying her bills, saying I owed her for raising me. It took years to break free." She squeezed my hand, her voice firm. "You're doing the right thing, Kristen. Don't look back." Her story felt like a mirror reflecting my own fight. It wasn't just me, others had faced this and come out stronger. I nodded, my resolve hardening. The weight of my family's demands was still there, but it was lighter now, like a shadow I could step out of. As the night wound down, I looked around the table at the faces smiling back at me. This was what I'd wanted all along, a moment that was mine, shared with people who saw me, not my wallet. Driving home, I felt a quiet freedom, like I'd finally claimed my life for myself. The road ahead wasn't clear, but for the first time, I wasn't carrying their burdens. A month later, I got a text from my brother. "Kristen, I'm sorry. I messed up. I'll change. I swear." His words felt hollow, like a script he'd rehearsed to get what he wanted. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over the reply button, but something in me had shifted. I didn't owe him a response. I didn't owe him anything. I blocked his number, my heart steady, knowing this was the only way to keep my boundaries intact. It wasn't about anger, it was about protecting my peace. The next day, a letter arrived from Mom, handwritten on thin stationery. Her words started soft, reminiscing about my childhood, but they turned sharp. "You'll regret turning your back on us," she wrote. "Family is all you have in the end." I read it once, then tossed it into the recycling bin. Her attempt to pull me back felt desperate, a final jab to make me doubt myself. But I was done letting her guilt trips control me. I'd spent years trying to please them, only to be met with demands and disappointment. That chapter was closed. Sitting on my balcony, I watered the small potted plants I'd tended for months, ferns and succulents that thrived despite my busy schedule. The simple act grounded me, a reminder of the life I was building. I thought about Lisa and Patricia, who'd become more than cousins. They were my chosen family. Over coffee last week, Lisa had texted me a photo of us laughing at the new birthday party, captioning it, "This is what family looks like." Patricia had called to check in, her voice warm, no strings attached. These were the people who saw me, who valued me without expecting a payout. They were my strength now, not the family I'd been born into. Looking back, I saw my journey clearly. It started with that failed birthday, the sting of their absence at Brew and Bites. It grew through every fight, standing up to their demands at their house, locking them out of my apartment, ignoring their manipulative texts. Each step was a battle to reclaim my life. I'd learned to say no, to guard my finances, my space, my heart. The cost was steep, losing the family I'd once clung to, but the reward was freedom. I wasn't their ATM or their doormat anymore. I was Kristen, living for myself. The consequences for them were clear. Grandma had told me more in a recent call. My brother's reckless spending had caught up, leaving him without a car and scrambling for odd jobs. Mom and Dad were drowning in their own debts, their years of enabling him finally taking a toll. They'd built a house of cards, and it was collapsing without me to prop it up. I felt a pang of sadness, but it wasn't my burden to carry. Their choices were theirs, just as mine were my own. As I watched the sunset from my balcony, the sky streaked with pink and gold, I felt a quiet peace settle in. My apartment was my sanctuary, filled with things I'd earned: books on the shelf, a cozy rug, those thriving plants. This was my life, built on my terms. The lesson was hard won but simple: set boundaries with toxic family, surround yourself with people who lift you up, and live true to who you are. It's not easy, but it's worth it. To everyone who's followed this story, thank you for listening to the end. I hope it resonates, whether you've faced similar struggles or just felt the weight of expectations. Share your thoughts below. What would you have done in my place? And if this story moved you, please subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world.